friend of
We're
mine.
live.
Are we on?
Yeah.
Good morning. Good morning and welcome to Today in LA. I'm Mike Amos. He's Forrest Lee as we start a Tuesday, the 27th day of July. And boy, it has really flown by this month.
It's gone just about.
You know, if we didn't have the virus and everything was normal, most of the teams would actually start practice on the 1st of August. You know, and of course, right now they're running on schedule. I don't know what the plan's going to be. Mike, good morning. How you doing?
Hi, morning.
Mike Amos calling in from Grayton Beach, Florida. How's the weather down there? Does it look pretty good?
I mean, it looks like it's about to start raining right now. Yesterday was pretty, but I think there's gonna be a lot of rain, and then it's supposed to get pretty later in the week.
What's the rule on the mask? What are they gonna do?
I mean, I think businesses in Panama City Beach are requiring masks, but
Yeah.
you know, we don't have any kind of mayor in Walton County. We have the county commissioners.
That's why we have a mask.
That's the coffee went down the wrong way.
That's pretty much it. So I don't think we're gonna have any mask ordinance here.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, it's everywhere else, and
Yeah, I mean, the numbers have come down a little bit over the last week. I mean, it was over 70,000 a day, and I think yesterday it was around 59,000 cases and I think 455 deaths. So, I mean,
that's nationwide. Is that right?
it's nationwide, yeah.
How does do you have any information on Troy or Pike County? I noticed the latest that I have from Pike County was of this weekend, actually Friday going into this weekend, and the number now is at 579, and I'm thinking around 7 or 8 deaths, from the virus.
Yeah, I'd have to look and see. I'm not sure.
Right.
And of course, and everybody's concerned about the virus and what it's going to do, and it doesn't look like it's leveling off very well right now. But you do say that you think it is leveling off a little bit, Mike?
I mean, as far as the numbers I saw, it looks like it is a little bit, but I mean, that's still, extremely high numbers.
Wherever Strawberry, Alabama is, more than 40 people were infected with the coronavirus after attending a multi-day revival event at North Alabama Baptist Church, according to the pastor. The whole church has got it, just about. Pastor Darrell Ross of Warrior Creek Missionary Baptist Church in Marshall County told AL.com. The pastor said the churchgoers, included himself, tested positive. It says the pastor said the churchgoers, including himself, tested positive after the congregation held a series of religious services featuring a guest pastor over several days last week. Ross said that services were shut down by Friday after it was learned that one of the members had tested positive for the virus. The member presented no symptoms but got tested, thank goodness, when several of his co-workers received positive tests, according to the pastor. Over the weekend, dozens more fell ill, Ross said. We knew that we were getting into, we knew what we were getting into. Ross said 2 members were serious as of Sunday and have been hospitalized, though many had reported having fevers, headaches, and respiratory issues. I just wanted people, wherever the world Strawberry, Alabama is, 40 people are infected that went to some church services in that area.
I think it's somewhere in North Alabama. But
And surely they'd have more sense than that. Man,
Good morning, Mike. This is Forrest. You're not on Zoom right now. But anyway, I was going to let you know that. But Troy University had graduation this past Friday.
That's right. Yeah.
And I've heard they loved some of the kids that I talked to. They liked breaking it up. They like breaking it up into different groups because it's not so crowded and it doesn't take so long.
Yeah.
But afterwards, people got together.
Yeah.
At probably different places here in Troy, and you hope that it didn't spike another.
Yeah, and of course, that's a big time when you eat out and with the family and so forth, and they just can't do that like they used to. And again, we've got to be responsible, and we've got to pay attention to what's going on. I mean, this church, 40 members present, 40 members got the virus. Isn't that unreal?
That's just.
Forrest Lee, of course, is our good friend, and he's a retired school teacher and coach. And this time, most of the years that you have coached, everybody gets ready for football. In fact,
Would be rocking and rolling about right now.
Most of the coaches are in the office today putting on the final touches. They'll start practice probably on August 1st. When you think?
Yes, sir. I saw Tallahassee last night on the news. They had a midnight madness practice, and the players were wearing masks, under their helmet. The coaches had masks on, and they've been doing that for years, according to what the coach was saying. That's a neat concept, but it's all about sanitation and trying to be proactive and preventive when it talks as it relates to this.
Yeah.
The virus and all.
For you folks out there that are concerned about high school football, the Alabama High School Athletics Association provided more details for the return of fall sporting events, including football, amid the pandemic. Right now, we are planning on having a full schedule. This is Coach Savarese, the head of the Alabama High School Athletics Association. He says we're now planning on having a full schedule. Schools have the option to begin athletics today. They can legally start athletics today on the 27th with an acclimation week that does not include two-a-days. Schools not choosing the early start can start later with the first contest on August the 10th. Right. So they're telling. I know there'll probably be a jamboree here in Troy.
Well, two counties, Greene County and Sumter County, their officials, there are no fall sports for the first 9 weeks of school. So two counties have elected no sports.
Those are two of the poorest counties in the state. That didn't really surprise me there.
Yeah.
And I think there's a 7-on-7 tournament here in Troy today at Pike Liberal Arts. Jody and I went to Mobile Sunday, and we came back yesterday, and I love buying local newspapers. Well, I bought the Bruton paper, and Sparta Academy is coming to Troy today to participate in the 707. That's Alton Hudson is down there at Sparta and Evergreen. So
Alton Hudson, who was at Pike Liberal Arts for several years, is now the head football coach at Sparta Academy in Evergreen. And but my buddy from who's a coach at what would be what's the name of that school? The Scamby Academy.
Yeah, Hugh Fountain. I talked to Hugh. Hey, and I got some good news about Hugh's family. H.T. Fountain, the oldest boy, played at a small school in Kentucky and was the long snapper.
Yeah.
Well, he's got 1 year of eligibility. He graduated. He is one of 3 long snappers at Arkansas vying for the 2 long snapper positions at the University of Arkansas.
Wouldn't that be something?
And, his uncle Scott is the assistant head coach at Arkansas, but he wouldn't be on that campus unless he had the skills to snap.
Exactly, no question
So
about
good
it.
luck to HT make one of those spots. And they're scheduled to play at Notre Dame this year.
Yeah, won't that be something?
That be
what
great?
An experience for HT.
But
he
his
just
family
had 1 more year of eligibility in college?
He had 1 more year of eligibility. He graduated, and good fella.
Of course, Hugh Fountain, his dad's a dear friend of ours, and of course, longtime coach here at Charles Simpson High School.
And Troy, his youngest son, will be a senior this year.
Oh, man.
And guess why he named Troy Troy?
Yeah.
He spent so much.
Did he play on the team?
No, Troy, the little boy.
Yeah.
He was born in here.
Yeah.
While Hugh and Susan were in Troy, so they named him after the city of Troy. I mean, and then Hannah's married. She's doing well.
Oh, well, that's good. That's wonderful. Well, Alabama High School Association has provided guidelines for best practice when returning to play. The board has given schools the freedom to make the decisions that are best for its campus. And that pretty much concerns everything from concessions to cheerleading to band, and will be at the discretion of the school. On Wednesday, the Alabama High School Athletic Association released an approval plan. The guide is not a final document, but it is expected to change as the new information on the virus comes out. The Alabama High School Athletic Association cautioned there is no way to eliminate all the risks, but the guidelines should help mitigate them. So a lot going on. It says football, in football, the players' box will be extended and timeouts will be increased to 2 minutes. So they'll have a 2-minute timeout.
I think they can go all the way to the 10-yard line. Is that right,
that's right,
Michael?
Yeah, that's right. And Mike Amos, what's going on in your part of the woods?
Not much. Just been watching a lot of baseball this week, so that's been fun for me. The Braves got killed last night, 14-5 by the Tampa Bay Rays, but that's coming off the Braves, taking 2 of 3 from the Mets, so they're 2-2 to start the season. Alabama got a big commit from a Payne kid out of Michigan. 5-star defensive tackle, 6'4", 300 pounds. So
Alabama doesn't go after them unless they're a 5-star, do they?
Alabama's now in some recruiting sites #1, and at one time before the pandemic started, I think they were like 55th in the country. So needless to say, Saban and his staff have worked really hard before the start of the season to get to a #1 class.
And they didn't have the actual camps that they normally use as a guide for them in recruiting. What did they do? Just handle it on the internet or what?
Yeah, just Zoom, and a lot of these guys they'd already met.
Yeah,
right.
Why don't you look at this helmet this morning, Mike? Forrest Lee brought me by this helmet one day, and he said, this is a helmet that I put together for the middle school, and what a good-looking helmet it is. And Forrest...
That was years ago. Mike, you gave me the favor to go back to get in coaching again.
But this bonnet, I used to call it a bonnet, get your bonnets on.
Yeah.
And but look what a good-looking helmet that would be for Charles Henderson High School or for...
We'll describe it for you, Mike. It's a solid white helmet with an orange stripe, orange face mask, and an orange and blue emblem of the Trojan decal, and also there should be an American flag on the back. Is there an American flag?
Not on this one.
We'll have to get you one for that. But I gave that to Mike years ago. It's a beautiful helmet. It's kind of like Auburn.
Yeah.
Since our colors are orange and blue.
They did away with orange helmets for years, and that's what they wore for years, orange helmets, and they went to a blue, which is pretty. It's good looking, but it tickled me if somebody would put together this thing.
Well, my first year, I put a blue T on it, like Tennessee T.
Sure, yeah.
And then the next year, I changed it up a little bit and tried to improve it each year to kind of make it pop. And then I put little emblems on the back of the helmet, depending on what you did. But
we're trying to stay 6 feet apart this morning, and as we go to you live from our studios on South Brundage Street. This is Today in L.A., brought to you on Facebook, around the country, around the world. And, of course, we've got a lot going on. Everybody's wondering what is going to happen to football, high school football, and when they're going to get started. It looks like, to me, they can officially start, if they want to, today.
I think they have. They
27th.
Some of them have.
So I'm going to ride by there this morning to see if they're out there.
Well, Michael, on Jefferson County schools have put out that there will be no middle school sports this fall in Birmingham at Jefferson County schools. What are they doing in Florida with high school sports, Michael? Have they delayed it?
Well, they delayed it, and now they've gone back and said now they can start on time. So I don't know what happened, but Florida and football is a pretty big deal. So right now everything's open again, and they're going to start practicing as well. So big news out of the Big 12 yesterday. Their commissioner Bob Bosby came out and said that the Big 12 and the SEC are still planning on playing 12 games.
Right.
Well, that'd be great.
ACC out of that mix. I don't know, what they're going to do, but that would be good, for some of these teams looking for games to pick up.
Yeah.
If the SEC still wants to play 12 and the Big 12 wants to play 12. Also out of West Virginia, Big Tony, was
Read that too.
parted ways with West Virginia, but it looks like a friend of the show and a good friend of ours will now be co-defense coordinator, Jordan Leslie.
Very good friend of mine. You know where he's from? He's from Fulton, Mississippi, the same place where Max Howell resides now.
That is a big jump from Jordan Leslie, who used to be the defense coordinator at Scuba and was the defense line coach at Troy and at West Virginia, but now is a co-defense coordinator. That's really big for him.
I tell you, I'm proud for him. He's a dear friend of mine. I've known him ever since he was a player here, and everybody loved Jordan Leslie, and and more power to him. Of course, you hate to see that happen to Vic, and I think anybody with guts, G-U-T-S, will pick him up. Of course, he did something wrong, evidently, or we wouldn't be going through all of this. And but again, at the same time, he's a personal friend of all of ours. That anybody that was a Troy fan would love Vic Coning because he was so successful. Without Vic Coning, I tell you what, Troy is just a mediocre football team. Those 4 or 5 years he was here. Without him, he was an excellent football coach.
Everybody makes mistakes.
His game playing against LSU when Troy beat LSU a few years ago.
Pretty good, wasn't it? Yeah.
Amazing.
You know what he told me about that? I used to talk to him a lot about football, and he was always a good guy and treated everybody about the same. But he told me one time that your players, you might have the best players in the world, but do they play hard for you? On paper, with this guy's a 5-star recruit that Alabama just got from Michigan. Well, what they won't know until later was, will he play hard? It's a difference in being a good player and that player playing hard 60 minutes.
Well, it's like Calvin Griffin, Michael Calvin Griffin. He used to tell us that, boys, men, if your mind's in the game, your body will automatically follow. And so I added to it when I was coaching, and I told Coach Griffin, it made a big impact on me when he said that. I said, Coach, I've added a couple of things. I said, if your mind's in the game and your heart's in the game, your body will automatically follow. Yeah. That's one of the abilities that the great coaches have is milking the cow.
Was, of course, Larry Blakeney, our good friend, and of course, longtime head coach here. I've always said this about him: was his players played hard for him. That's a big difference. If you can be good, but if you're just out there about halfway doing the job and not playing hard every play, you don't have what you want to have. But Larry Blakeney was a guy that definitely the players played hard for him, and I think they're going to do the same thing for Chip Lindsey. He's that kind of coach.
Well, I think one thing that affected all that is the ability to fly the coop, go where you want to go. The transfer rule hurt a lot of coaches, and you just got to make that adjustment, just like Saban did at Alabama. There were some players that he inherited. They weren't putting out like they should. And when he got his folks in there, it's all about making them work for you and getting them to work for you and treating them right.
Want to send out our prayers and our love to the family of Calvin Lott. My dear friend Calvin Lott, we lost him this weekend. Longtime civil servant for the city of Troy and one of his great people. And our prayers and thoughts go out to Sharon and the family of Calvin Lott. Want to also mention the lady that died recently in Atlanta, Mary Trogdon, Mary Petrie Stewart Trogdon. Of course, she was the daughter of our great doctor for so many years, Dr. William P. Stewart, and was born and raised right here in Troy. Of course, she died in Dunwoody, Georgia, just this past week. And I was reading the obituary, and it just makes my heart beat faster when I read about what some people have done in their life. And what I would think that anybody out there that, and of course this girl was born and raised in Troy, and of course her daddy was a big doctor, Dr. Stewart, and of course she lived in Atlanta for many years. But reading about her passing and reading about what she did in her life really means a lot, and will brighten up anybody's day if you'll catch that. The Messenger's weekend edition on the July 25th, a very good article on Mary Peacher Stewart. Of course, this is not a...
the funeral for John Lewis at Troy University. That was very well done, and man, Mayor Jason Reeves spoke at the funeral, and man, what a amazing job he did.
I've heard that, and I hope he's watching today.
Watch that on AL.com. Of course, Chancellor Hawkins spoke and did a great job as always, but very impressed with Jason. I've known him all my life, and of course, he's done a great job at mayor of the city of Troy. But great testimony in a speech he made at the funeral for John Lewis and his family and friends.
I've heard that was very well to do, and people don't realize how much exposure that gave Troy, Alabama, and Troy University.
All over the national news, all over the world.
Yeah, I know it, and it was like we were the first step in about a 5 or 6 event that had been planned for him, and the more and more you read about him, he was an outstanding individual, and he was proud of where he was from, Troy, Alabama, and I heard it on national news that said he was born in Troy, Alabama. Yeah.
Well, they call him the boy from Troy.
Yeah, the boy from Troy. That's right.
You know, the nonviolence that he embellished, the nonviolence approach to protest or for reaching equality, the nonviolence, we need to adhere to that today, world, United States. All this unrest that we're having in these big cities, reflect on John Lewis and how he approached it.
Yeah.
And we all need to do that.
Yeah, no question about it.
I met his...
thinking about it, renaming the Edmund Pettus Bridge after John Lewis, and then the stretch of highway from Selma to Montgomery after John Lewis as well, is what I read. But he's now in Washington, D.C. For public viewing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know how many days that's going to take place.
Well, he has really been honored tremendously by the people of America, and again, our thoughts and prayers go out to people that are mourning today. It's time to just face the Lord and say, "Forgive us of our many sins," and may we do everything to in what we call in your liking. And people say that all the time, but that's probably the most important thing to be involved with the church and love your Lord.
I've met his brother Sam Lewis. When I was running for commissioner, I went and talked to Mr. Sam because he had run for commissioner the 4 years before I did. And just a super fella and family. We talked about some of his relatives and where he grew up and all that. But Mr. Sam, still lives in the same area that they grew up in. I think it's either on the Saco Road or the what's that road?
I want to say it was Saco Road.
Saco Road, or what's the one where you take a left?
Or you got 29. You got Highway 29.
No, it's either Saco. What's the one right before you get to the bridge at Union Hill? What's that road called?
I want to say that's Highway 23, isn't it?
Yeah.
What is that highway?
There's another one right before you get to the bridge right past Lester's store.
Oh, that's Bassett Bottom. That's Bassett,
Yeah.
Garner Bassett Road.
It's either that one or 223, and he's got a beautiful greenhouse. His brother Sam does. And,
yeah.
But anyway, that's a.
And of course,
That was a lot of
his
those
people
brothers and
still
sisters.
live here. Then
Yeah.
is that right?
He has a sister who was in California. She's moved back
Yeah.
to that area, and
Well,
I
I
hadn't
tell
had
you
a chance
what,
to meet
John
her.
Lewis, he did it with dignity and class, and he, you know, he was just so strong toward his beliefs, and you know, he was a good man.
Yes, sir.
No question about it. Of course,
You mentioned the NCAA presidents I think are meeting on Wednesday, so we should know something. I would think for sure come Friday into Saturday about football season. Is what they're saying. So,
do you think they'll try to? I'm all for starting football whenever we can, but at the same time, I want us to be positive about the rules and following the rules as much as possible. You know, I just don't see how they could start it on time. You know, maybe I'm wrong.
well, I mean, it all depends on how many games they're going to play. You know, if they only play 10, you know, you could delay the start for 2 weeks. I'd say.
Yeah. You know,
Everybody can start on the 19th, which you know might be the right thing to do.
you know, we talked to Brent, the athletic director
Yeah,
at
Brent
Troy.
was more positive than anybody I've ever heard on any of this.
And you know, the thing about it, and of course, this is this virus, you would call it a, you know, I mean, God, nothing could prevented this. You know, this was an act of nature or whatever you want to call it. It was something that nobody could help, and now I was looking at Troy and looking at.
I'm pretty sure somebody could have helped. They could have let other countries know how bad it was going to be, and you know, maybe give a heads up that beforehand instead of keeping it. You know,
no question about it. No question about it.
Not telling anybody for about a month.
But yeah, you're right. It was everybody's concern. But
the spread. I mean, even Fauci. Like I could go back and pull up 2 or 3 interviews from Dr. Fauci, like in January, saying that this is not a big deal. It's nothing to worry about. I don't think the United States is going to be fine. I mean, he said that in 2 different interviews in January.
Yeah. But I just hope that we make the right decisions. And but back to what I was going to say.
You got 99% of the people in America are fine. They have mild symptoms or asymptomatics. Well, this is actually in the world. 99%, and then you have 1% that is, you know, in critical or you know, serious condition.
Yeah. Evidently, too, something that's happened in the last few months is their knowledge of the virus and how to treat it. I believe that has improved tremendously, and I think that's one of the reasons why you don't have as many deaths. They know how to treat this a lot better than they did at first. Don't you agree?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with that. It's one of those things. I mean, Bill has been studying this more than anybody, but the fact that you're not seeing, you know, from 25 years old down. I mean, the amount of deaths worldwide are probably like in the, you know, the 50s. So that's one thing that you're, you know, if it was affecting young people and athletics, you know, in high school and, you know, college, you know, there'd be no way they'd play it.
Yeah. Okay, let me tell you what we were leading up to was it looks like that the contract that we have with Tennessee to play in Knoxville in November and North Carolina State to play here in Troy, I want to say that's October. Is that right, or is that late September?
Tennessee's November the 21st. North Carolina State is September the 19th.
All right, September the 19th. Those 2 games are still under contract. And what I was saying, you know, what do you say when you have a storm? That's an act of
God.
God, yeah. You know, and that's the way it is with this football schedule. You know, nobody can help it. You know, nobody made a mistake and schedule a game they weren't supposed to schedule. Everything was done right, but this is an act of nature. Is that right?
You can look at it that way.
I don't know what the terminology would be.
Well, you know, does the first SEC game start on September 19th? Is that the first games that they play each other? Because Georgia and Alabama play on the 19th. Well, my philosophy, or one avenue that I'm looking at, if you're going to play football this year, and we had a contract to play, we need to play unless you decide not to play football. In other words, Tennessee, Troy, if you're going to play football, Tennessee, well, play us.
That's right. Or
don't go play somebody else.
Or pay us, you know.
Yeah, but you can't upset the big guys. Of course, there's maybe other variables, but it's not that far from Tennessee to Troy. Or
yeah, and
I'm
of course,
just looking at it from a
we
Troy
know for
standpoint.
sure, and this is one that we're really looking at. And I want to throw out a couple of things.
I like closer to Knoxville than Boone, North Carolina.
Yeah, well, this Arkansas Pine Bluff game is definitely gone. Their conference will not even play football this fall. All right, so we know that is an open date for Troy. What is that, the 28th of August? What's the date on that?
On the 5th of September.
Oh, that was scheduled for the 5th of September. Okay.
Yeah, all these games are in September. I mean,
it would
let it be known that there's been no talks between Alan Green and Brent Jones. Brent Jones made that perfectly clear that Auburn will never play Troy while Mike Amos is alive, as far as I'm concerned.
Bless him. Lord, throw us a bone, Lord. Throw us a bone.
I don't see it ever happening. We mentioned before when David Hassel played Roy Rogers and whatever with Larry Blaney, like you said the other day in an article, and they were best of friends growing up in Gordo, Alabama. If that guy's the AD and Larry Blaney's the head coach of Troy, and that
It
never
doesn't have the guts to play Troy. It takes guts to play Troy.
But I will say he did definitely confirm your UAB Southern Miss talk about playing UAB twice and Southern Miss twice. Now,
that would be smart.
I would jump all over that if that's the case.
And then also they threw in Alabama Birmingham, Mike. They did the same thing with them, UAB.
Yeah, that's what I said. I said playing UAB twice and Southern Miss twice.
That would be very good, I would think. It'd be good money games too for both of them. I would think they'd play them home and home, wouldn't you think?
I mean, yeah, you'd have to play it early. You'd have to start your season with Southern Miss and UAB and then finish the season somewhere with them.
Yes, exactly. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, it is the 27th day of July, and we hope you're doing well. We're going to take an early break. We'll be right back to more of Today in L.A.
This is the 28th.
Have you seen an increase in your insurance premiums or significant change in your insurance coverage? Let Sandbeck Insurance offer you a better plan to suit your business or personal needs. Sandbeck Insurance offers many lines of insurance, whether it's home, farm, or auto insurance, work comp, business, or health and life policies. Sandbeck is here for you. Call or visit our Troy, Enterprise, or Andalusia office today. Sandbeck Insurance, where we take pride in taking care of your insurance needs.
At the Piggly Wiggly, we proudly support our local farmers and bring you the best they have to offer, all at cost plus 10%. When you shop local, you reinvest in your community. Remember, buy local, shop local. Piggly Wiggly, local since forever.
A personal touch, a high level of trust. Whether it's checking and savings accounts, personal or business loans, or our local friendly service. That's what Troy Bank and Trust customers expect. But now we offer more. Free identity theft protection for our new and existing customers, protecting your family's time, money, and good name from identity theft. Because protecting your identity is now a big part of our identity.
Trojan Auto Parts of Troy, home of Napa Know-How. Stop by and see owners Mike and Melissa Kilcrease and their Napa Know-How team with over 100 years of combined experience. We're the only locally owned parts store in Pike County, and we're fully stocked and ready to serve you. We pride ourselves on being your go-to parts store, not only for the simple items, but we specialize in those hard-to-find items as well. Trojan Auto Parts, the right part at the right price at the right time. Napa, a name you've trusted here in Troy since 1945.
Here at Bill Jackson Chevrolet in Troy, we've been doing business the right way for 31 years. But don't take our word for it. We feel our customers express it the best.
Been honest in everything we've discussed with them.
When they say Jackson satisfaction, they really mean it.
The Jackson satisfaction is real.
Have you seen an increase in your insurance premiums or significant change in your insurance coverage? Let Sandbeck Insurance offer you a better plan to suit your business or personal needs. Sandbeck Insurance offers many lines of insurance, whether it's home, farm, or auto insurance, work comp, business, or health and life policies. Sandbeck is here for you. Call or visit our Troy, Enterprise, or Andalusia office today. Sandbeck Insurance, where we take pride in taking care of your insurance needs.
Back to our show, ladies and gentlemen, brought to you by Little Caesars, the best pizza in town. I tell you what, I want to say $5.38 is what I paid for a hot and ready the other day, and that is the best deal in town. And for $1 more, they're going to add more meat and make it even better at $6 and plus. It's great pizza. It's as good as you're going to find anywhere at a great price, and it's hot and ready. You can stop and run in there and get your pizza and you're on your way. I've done it many times saying, gosh, I'm not going to have time to go home to eat. What am I going to do? I just pull over right here on South Running Street, get my pizza and go.
Get it, go.
They don't have a drive-through there?
No.
No, but they're located all over, and they're really good. I was at the beach this past weekend, and enjoyed a pizza, and it's probably the quickest meal you'll get that you might have enough left to have another meal. To me, we're very fortunate to have Little Caesars here, a part of our show. I want to also mention Premier Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram trucks, and they've got the biggest summer sale that's known to man. It's called the Summer Clearance Sale at Premier Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram trucks on the bypass, and this is something unreal. To go with the already just super prices on cars and trucks, bring in an extra $1,000 on your trade. So they'll give you what they're going to tell you on a trade, and then they're going to throw another $1,000 in with it. I call that dealing. They're dealing, no question.
Wheeling and dealing.
And they got some great sales going on. And this right here, they're not afraid to advertise locally, are they? Wouldn't you call that advertising locally? And they advertise so well, and they've given back to the community, and they've gone through some real situations with the virus, and everything is cleared up. Everything is going footloose and fancy free, and we appreciate them very much. Here's our coffee this morning. If it doesn't say Hill and Brooks, ladies and gentlemen, Forrest Lee, you don't want it. Of course, this is a young man from Enterprise, Alabama, pouring us coffee this morning, and I appreciate that. And
the tournament was won by Michael Thompson,
thank
former
you.
SEC Player of the Year at Alabama. So Thompson lives in Birmingham in the off season. So congratulations to him, his first PGA Tour win in 7 years.
Wow.
That's a Gilly, a young man from Enterprise. And Mike, let me tell you this. He was as humble as he could be, bless his heart. How old would you say he was? He's got to be in his mid-30s, isn't he? How old is he?
You talking about Michael Thompson?
Yeah.
Yeah, why were you saying Gilly?
He's the one poured his coffee.
That's who just poured my coffee, that Hill and Brooks this morning.
Yeah, Michael Thompson's around 35 years old.
35 years old, and he's won one tournament. But he was so smooth, and he just did not let anything bother him. He was really impressive, I tell you, he really was. And he played at Alabama, and so did the guy that was number 3, got third place money. He's also from Alabama, is that right?
Yeah, Robert Shepard.
Is he the one that shot the 58, Mike?
No, that's Bobby White. He doesn't play on the tour.
I know it. Wyatt doesn't play on the tour?
No, Sheldon won 2 times on the Corn Ferry Tour last year, so everybody knew he was going to be really good this year.
Yeah.
He's already made over $1 million this year on the tour. He's finished third twice now.
Already, isn't that something?
You know,
He's only 24.
Yeah.
you know, in golf, if you know you're not going to win it, but you may finish fourth or fifth, it's a big deal to finish fourth because there's a lot of money. There's a lot of difference in money between fifth place and fourth place. So you still having to focus and get after it because it's the money.
No,
Yeah,
no
they have a world golf, match in Memphis this weekend. So you'll have all the great players playing in Memphis.
Yeah.
Starting on Thursday.
Speaking,
I can remember been several years back where a local favorite from around here won the tournament and then went for a swim. Do you remember that?
Come on, Jerry Pate?
Yeah, Jerry Pate. He won it. He went. He dove in that ugly-looking pond after he won it.
When he won the Players Championship. That's right.
Yeah. Of course, I think that was one of his big victories. How many tournaments did Jerry Pate win? Do you know?
He won 9 on the PGA Tour.
9. Isn't that quick that we get information like that?
I'd like to jump in.
He had a lot of injuries there.
I'd like to jump in. I'm working at the Brundage Country Club part-time.
Bring that up, too.
And it's a beautiful course. The greens are in fantastic shape, Mike.
Yeah, well, that's what's important.
And but they're located on Sarah Lott Boulevard in Brundage, Alabama. If you want to call, the number is 735-3680. Your green fees are $12 during the week,
very reasonable.
and $15 on the weekend, and you can ride a cart.
Is that a green? Is that for 18 holes all day?
Yeah, all day.
All
day.
Man, that is really,
all
really
day.
reasonable.
And cart fees are $10 per 9.
Yeah, exactly.
And we have about 18 carts that you can get. And if you want to join, you can call and get more information about that. But the initiation fee is $150, and it's $50 a month.
Yeah.
Then that pays for pays for your green fees, and then if you want a cart, just pay $10 per 9 and go play.
And that cart is ready to go. Is that right?
It's ready to go, gassed up, ready to go.
And of course, you're going to be working there, for however long, and you're going to play a little golf. I'm going to come down there and play with you.
Let's go.
I used to play that course years ago with Jimmy Shirley, who Jimmy's a good friend of mine, one of the best golfers ever come out of Troy, and he's always played that golf course. But what I remember so well about it was when I used to play it, and we always had fun going down there. And it was back there in college, and we didn't have money we weren't members of the country club, so that's where we went to play.
Right. A lot of college kids come out there.
I remember the long par, well, it was just par 4, number 1, but number 2 was a hole. If you hit it real good, you could drive the green. Is that still the case?
I can't do it. There's a lot of people that probably can do it.
Yeah,
but
it is a short par 4.
It's not too bad.
Let's go over that course. The course is a long par 4 to begin with. Then to come back for a short par 4. Is that right?
And then you have a par 3 that's about 170, 180.
Yeah.
Then there's a par 5 dogleg left.
This is number 4.
Then you tee off. The hardest hole to me is the one coming back to the clubhouse. It's a par 4. And
long par 4.
Long par 4. It's kind of like a little bit of a dog leg left. And then you tee off when you're teeing away from I done lost my numbers of the holes, but when you're teeing away from the clubhouse, that's a good par 4.
Yeah.
You should make a birdie on that one if you're good. Pardon me. Then the next one's a dog leg right par 4. Then there's a 180-yard, 170-yard par 3, and then the the par 9, the number 9 hole, that coffee is getting. You tee off over water, and it's a dog leg left, and it's kind of uphill.
What hole number is that?
That's number 9.
Number 9.
That's coming back to the clubhouse. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But now, how many par 5s do you have?
2, 1, 2.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Excuse me.
Of course, hopefully, ladies and gentlemen, he's well this morning. He looks healthy. He looks real healthy. And let me tell you this, ladies and gentlemen. He makes the best strawberry cake I have ever eaten in my life. and everybody that I've given a piece of that cake to feels the same way. Hey, you could very well call it Forrest Lee's world famous strawberry cake.
I've made about 10 strawberry cakes.
Yeah.
And that recipe, I think, is the best one because I got a taste of my own cake for the first time. When I brought it to you, I wanted to bring it to him for his birthday. It's a belated birthday present. But I called him and took it to your house, and Miss Carol cut us a slice, and I said, man, I thought it was the best cake I've eaten in a long, long time.
And, we like strawberry cake, and that it was really, and of course those fresh strawberries made it really even better.
Well, what I did, Mike, was when I had my 3 cakes and they were nice and cool, I think it was an 8-inch pan that I used, and then the cakes were real cool. Then I had my cream cheese topping. Then I had sliced strawberries on that layer. Put the next layer down, another row of strawberries on top, thin strawberry slices. And then I put my final layer on top, covered it with ice, and got my cake all covered, and then sprinkled sliced strawberries on top, and put one big strawberry in the middle.
Yeah.
But it was very moist.
Yeah, it really was. It really was. Now you made that from scratch, or Betty Crocker, or what? What did you do?
I used a couple of cake. I used actually 2 boxes of cake mix, but I didn't use all of it because the original recipe on the box says it'll make 2 layers. I said, well, I need 3. So I put 2 boxes and had some batter left over. But that was the moistness that came from there. And but I used Philadelphia cream cheese, and I used Domino's powdered sugar. I try to use the best that there is.
What we'll do someday, we'll let you bring some of these cakes up here, and we'll auction them off. A lot of people love a good cake, and I had several opportunities to get rid of mine, but I said no, I'm gonna eat this thing.
Well, you got a taste of that rum cake that I brought, remember?
Yeah, we sure got to do. Now, something about the Philadelphia brand cream cheese, is that what you make your icing out of?
Yes.
Or what?
Yes.
And you just
only the best for the best.
You have to add sugar to that.
I use Domino's powdered sugar and a little bit of vanilla flavoring, and when I get it all going and it's nice and smooth, I let it lay out on the counter and let it soften up.
Yeah.
But then I'll take a little taste.
Yeah.
Man, that's pretty good. And then I may have to add just a touch of sugar.
Right, of course, we've had strawberry, and we know what you can do with strawberry. You're welcome to bring any cake on the show, and we'll auction it off.
Well, next time you go to Florida, if it works out, I want make one for Michael.
Okay, good.
But I want it uncut before you take it to him.
Yeah, exactly. You hear that, Michael?
I'm sure my girls will love it. Yeah. It's strawberry season, isn't it? So it's probably a good time to make strawberry cake.
Yeah, it is strawberry season. I think, I tell you what, the best tomatoes.
Is it peach season too?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and the peaches are wonderful. I had my peaches with with my cereal. I just add my peaches to my cereal, and it's just wonderful. I just love peaches, and of course you put bananas on there too, if you want to, and it's nothing like a good bowl of cereal with fresh fruit on it.
I made some Quaker Oats oatmeal the other day.
Yeah.
And sliced some strawberries, put it in there, put a little bit of cinnamon in there, and put a little bit of real honey.
Yeah.
Stirred it up. Boy, it was good. It was good for you.
And that was
from scratch.
Yeah, from scratch.
Strawberry oatmeal with a touch of local honey.
Yeah.
And McCormick's cinnamon. The reason I like McCormick's is because that was that was in my family heritage.
That's why my mother made the cinnamon toast with all those
bit of butter.
It's so simple. Just go ahead and put your tray with 4 or 5 slices of bread, and then you come out and you put the cinnamon on each piece of bread that's in your cookie pan, whatever, and then you add what I call you go ahead and put butter on all of them. Load them up with butter, and then take some sweetener, and put the sweetener on each slice of bread, and you stick it in there. A lot of people bake it, and a lot of people broil it, and whichever way you do it, you just let it sit a little bit after you finish, and it's crispy around the edges, and it's called cinnamon toast, and I was born and raised with it. And
I've had a
it's
many.
easy and it's delicious.
You know, I've always heard the tale that if you have burnt toast, it's good for your voice. So I've had several slices. I have a pretty good voice, singing voice.
Okay, Forrest Lee has joined us today, and of course, a longtime teacher here in Detroit. And what does the Troy school system look like? Do you know?
You know, I talked to some. I think they're still kind of figuring things out of how they're going to teach kids.
Are they going to go in the classroom, or are they going to stay at home?
I think there's 2 or 3 different variables that you can choose from. You can do it virtual, or you can come to school. High school kids, I think, can do part in school, part virtual. It's different for the high school kids, but I have no idea.
It could turn out to be a logistics nightmare. Do you think?
Well, some of these bigger school systems, Jefferson County and Mobile, Montgomery, no kids for the first 9 weeks. It's all virtual. Now, how are you going to teach a first grader on a computer?
Yeah, exactly.
There's going to be a lot of adjustments that's going to have to be made within the family, and but who knows what's there. But going back to golf, one of the most beautiful things I saw the other day is this guy came to play golf with his son. His son was maybe a kindergartner, and he had his set of clubs, and he was out there teaching his son the game of golf.
Yeah.
You know, and that's a perfect for you parents. Buy a set of junior clubs and teach your young boy or your young girl how to play golf.
That's right.
And locally here in Troy, I would call the country club if I had a daughter, and I'd get Mr. Tony Mitchell to see if Miss Allison Mitchell Stewart gives lessons for your daughter. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure, you know, some female golfer in Troy could do that for girls, or it doesn't have to be a lady. But what a wonderful sport for some of these kids.
The most important thing about golf to me is your grip. If your grip's not right, you're sure not going to hit the ball the way you want it, especially irons. Now, right now, you look at my golf bag, I only have maybe 1 or 2 irons, a pitching wedge, and maybe a 5-iron.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of them are hybrids.
Yes, sir.
Different, and what I'm saying, I can make better contact with like a 7-wood instead of a 5-iron. I can hit a 7-wood better than I can hit a 5-iron.
Let's go back to education. In physical education, I learned from the best. His name was James Whitey Whitman.
Yeah.
Teach your kids, the middle school kids, lifetime sports. I taught golf at the middle school because they need to learn something that you can do when you're 40 years old, when you're 50. You can't play basketball or football all the time. Well, teach them golf, teach them tennis, and we would march in a line to the tennis court. I'd stay on the left side of the sidewalk. We'd practice tennis. I'd teach them the game. Bought a tennis machine, so you can learn how to hold. You know. And
holding a
table tennis.
The worst thing in the world you can do playing tennis is break your wrist. You don't break your wrist. You hit it like this instead of like this. You hit it like this.
Tennis, table tennis, golf, hunter safety, badminton. You know, those kind of things that kids can play when they're 30, they're 40, they're 50,
and you know
they're
what,
60.
they think back and they say, Coach Forrest Lee taught me how to do this, and Coach Forrest Lee told me you're supposed to hold a golf club like this.
Well, you know, the one thing that I was amiss at, the ability to do canoeing like Coach Whitman did.
Yeah.
But by that time, the lagoon was not the lagoon as it was in its day.
Yeah.
But he had access to canoes. I think he might have borrowed them from Don Jeffrey at Troy University, because the university used to do canoeing at the lagoon.
Exactly right.
You know,
and it was something that, like you said, it was stay where you rest of your life.
That's right. And, you know, we taught angling skills. I had what they call backyard bass fish that you could put on the football field, and I made them stay on the sideline. Okay, this is your bank. You can't get out there in the water.
Yeah.
And then I'd separate about every 5 yards. You were standing on that line. The next, and then I would let them practice their angling skills. And then you're doing that skill. And then we had for 2 years. We'd go. Well, we did it 3 years. We'd go to we went to Mr. He just passed away within the past year or so. He had Mr. Darrell.
Yeah. Okay.
We went to Darrell.
Yeah.
Was it Clay Hill Farms?
Clay Hill Farms.
We went out there with a group, and then later, when the Pike County Lake became open, we carried all the sixth graders 2 years in a row.
Sure.
And we did boating.
And it's not easy to put them in that bus because you got a lot of liability there, don't you?
Well, no, this is like a field trip.
Yeah, field trip. Okay.
But we had different stations. We had the fishing stations. We bought catfish, had them netted off. We had the biology station, electricity around water, how it's important to be careful when there's electricity. Well, and how to clean a fish. They saw that demonstration. Then we had somebody cooking the fish.
Yeah.
But anyway.
And these are things that last forever. You
Right.
know, I don't know how much, Mike, you're watching. I don't know. I've never seen Michael clean a fish much. But, of course, I don't fish as much as I used to.
I've paid people to clean fish.
Yeah.
Well, you know, he's Doug Darr, who's the education, he's the aquatics education guy for the state of Alabama and the Department of Natural, the Department of Conservation and Natural Resources. Doug Darr, he came down. He had a brim and a bass and a catfish that he kept in a cooler. And when the next group came up there, he showed them, here's how you clean a catfish. It's different. You got to skin a catfish, and you got to scale a brim and a bass. Now here's the insides, what they look at. Girls, turn your head if you have to. And then he would show them how to clean one. Now we didn't let the kids handle the knives. Then after they saw that demonstration, they walked straight to the. And actually, it was Mr. Sam Lewis's. Mr. John Lewis's nephew, the first year, cooked the catfish for us. I can't call his name right now, but the next year, Danny and Carol Rhodes from Goshen did the catfish cooking. And I bought fingerlings from the co-op.
Yeah.
And hush puppies and
That's right.
and all. So the kids, when they came to that station, they got to sample a catfish right out of the grill.
Yeah.
Right out of the hot oil. I'm salivating now, just like I'm getting excited about it. But that's.
I tell you what, though, that's amazing. What what all y'all gave these kids the opportunity to do. I mean, the things that'll last for the rest of their life.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and let this out. This is the first time anybody's heard it. Jim Mullis and I, when all this stuff clears, our goal each year is we want the sixth graders from all over the county. Part of them come on a Wednesday. Part of them come on a Thursday, and the other part comes on Friday. Like, for example, as big as Troy is, let them come on a Wednesday maybe. Then let Banks and Brundage come on Thursday, and let Goshen and Pike Liberal Arts and any homeschool kid come on Friday, and have those stations at Pike County Lake to give them exposure of a beautiful gym that the state of Alabama and the city of Troy manages out there at Pike County Lake. And those kids will get an exposure to safe boating, fishing, angling skills, all that we just talked about. And Jim and I have talked about that, but we've got to wait till all this stuff clears to do the same thing for all the sixth graders of Pike County. Now, they can't come all the same day.
How about teach them how to bait a hook?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. And see,
really,
we have volunteers.
Unless you fathers and grandfathers and aunts and your uncles have not taken them out to fish, surely you have. But there's a lot of folks, a lot of kids out there that would surprise you that have never baited a hook before.
Yeah. Well, see, we had volunteers. I had 8 volunteers in the boats, and everybody had to snap on their life jacket, and they would take them on a little boat.
Exactly right.
Out and come back and park.
That'd be wonderful.
Then they would park. They'd leave. The next group would get in.
And I tell you what, to have somebody over there cooking hot dogs or hamburgers, make it a real good trip.
That's what we did, and part of the money that we used is we made sandwiches, and so when it was time for lunch break, I had different tables throughout the park. Oh, and we've added barbecue grills out there now.
Have you? Okay, yeah.
But then you could get your sandwich, and anytime you wanted a cold water, there was ice water anywhere. Sure. And you just, if you needed to go to the bathroom out of your group, you just walk up, use the bathroom, go back to your group.
Yeah.
And but we had sandwiches made from a local company here.
Yeah, well, that's
and we just
great.
chopped them up, and you had chips and soft drinks were donated.
Sure.
And water, and
I tell you what,
we're hoping to do that.
And it's an opportunity that a lot of kids don't get, and it's just wonderful. And you talk about our good friend that allowed them to go out and fish, Mr. Darrell. What a great man he was, and probably didn't talk enough about us. His death. He was quite a guy, and a lot of people didn't realize it was one of the top people with the big
Alpha,
Alpha
Insurance?
Yeah, no question about it.
A steward of the land. We talked about stewardship too. And to start off those days, we had the Pike County Sheriff's Rescue Dive Team to come in.
Oh boy!
And they talked in front of all.
They even had one.
They do. They have about 2 or 3 certified divers, and if need be, then they can go recover a body, or they may have to go look for something in a pond.
It's 801, the Pike Tree Service. We appreciate them so much, and what a great job they did during the storms a few weeks or months back, and they've cleared the grounds and most of the down trees, and we appreciate them. Also, our good friends at Green Hills, and of course Green Hills Park, located right here on Highway 29. And Benny and
Pond-Stalker.
Chrissy, we appreciate you very much. And of course, tell us about Pond-Stalker.
Pond-Stalker. They're a company that they can stock your ponds or lakes. They also, if you got a nice pond, they can put in a sprinkler. I mean, one of those water fountains that spew. It's very aesthetic looking. I'm trying to think where I've seen one lately. But they do that. They'll come manage your pond for you. But that business is located on the Shellhorn Road.
Yeah.
And I think of Mr. Trotter.
Yeah, that's right.
I can't think of his first name right offhand, but he's the owner of the business. And Jim Mullis works with him trying to promote that product.
About it, Jim Mullis.
But it's Pond-Stalker too.
Yeah.
I don't know the number; it just flashed by. But they're one of your sponsors.
The Agency, see Perry Green. You're in good hands with Allstate from the Withington Agency right here in Troy. We'll be back to more of Today in L.A., Lower Alabama.
A personal touch, a high level of trust. Whether it's checking and savings accounts, personal or business loans, or our local friendly service. That's what Troy Bank and Trust customers expect. But now we offer more. Free identity theft protection for our new and existing customers, protecting your family's time, money, and good name from identity theft. Because protecting your identity is now a big part of our identity.
Trojan Auto Parts of Troy, home of Napa know-how. Stop by and see owners Mike and Melissa Kilcrease and their Napa know-how team with over 100 years of combined experience. We're the only locally owned parts store in Pike County, and we're fully stocked and ready to serve you. We pride ourselves on being your go-to parts store, not only for the simple items, but we specialize in those hard-to-find items as well. Trojan Auto Parts, the right part at the right price at the right time. Napa, a name you've trusted here in Troy since 1945.
Here at Bill Jackson Chevrolet in Troy, we've been doing business the right way for 31 years. But don't take our word for it. We feel our customers express it the best.
Been honest in everything we've discussed with them.
When they said Jackson Satisfaction, they really mean it.
The Jackson satisfaction is real.
Have you seen an increase in your insurance premiums or significant change in your insurance coverage? Let Sandbeck Insurance offer you a better plan to suit your business or personal needs. Sandbeck Insurance offers many lines of insurance, whether it's home, farm, or auto insurance, work comp, business, or health and life policies. Sandbeck is here for you. Call or visit our Troy, Enterprise, or Andalusia office today. Sandbeck Insurance, where we take pride in taking care of your insurance needs.
At the Piggly Wiggly, we proudly support our local farmers and bring you the best they have to offer, all at cost plus 10%. When you shop local, you reinvest in your community. Remember, buy local, shop local. Piggly Wiggly, local since forever.
Okay, we're back. We're back. We're boys gonna break down that glass one day, and he's gonna have to run, run, Forrest, run. But something very important that we have not talked about today. In an emergency meeting today, Mike, the Alabama Beverage Control Board voted unanimously to cut off premise alcohol sales, all premise alcohol sales. Well, the actual would be 11 o'clock. Is that right?
I mean, that's what I read. I mean, I don't know if they'll try to appeal this or what, but
let me read it one more time.
ABC board doing this is going to cost them a lot of money as well.
Let me read this again. In an emergency meeting today, the Alabama Beverage Control Board unanimously voted to cut off all premises alcohol sales at bars, restaurants, and clubs at 11 p.m. each night, with the requirement that all alcohol be consumed by 11:30 p.m. All right, so you can't buy it after 11 p.m. and it needs to be consumed at by 11:30 p.m. The board had originally considered cutting off sales at 10 p.m. and consumption at 2:30 p.m., but according to the ABC administrator, Matt Gibson, pushed the deadline back after hearing from bar and restaurant owners. So this is a law in the state of Alabama. You can't order a drink after 11 p.m. each night. Is that right?
That is correct.
And that is a.
I'll tell you what. I mean, I don't know what I would have done in college. I didn't even go out till midnight.
A lot of them.
Yeah, that's right. That's going to put a stop to a lot of that, won't it?
This past Saturday, Jody and I had we went to my kinfolks' trailer travel home in Goshen, just inside of Crenshaw County, and we had a cookout. There's just 4 of us, and on the way back, we came by the Double Branch.
Yeah.
It was about 11:15. It was packed.
Yeah, exactly.
It was door-to-door parking.
That's going to have a lot of
no
effect.
telling what the front porch looked like.
It's going to have a lot of effect. Again, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to read it one more time. In an emergency meeting today, the Alabama Beverage Control Board voted unanimously to cut off on-premises alcohol sales at bars, restaurants, and clubs at 11 p.m. each night, with the requirement that all alcohol be consumed by 11:30. So your last drink is at 11 p.m. and you got to be finished drinking it by 11:30. And the board had originally considered cutting off the sales at 10 p.m. and consumption by 10:30 p.m. But according to ABC Administrator Matt Gibson, pushed the deadline back after hearing from bar and restaurant owners. So that's the deal. Bars and restaurants, you can get a drink until 11 o'clock.
Last call is usually around 2 a.m., so that's going to cost...
It's going to cost them some money, isn't it?
It's a lot of money. There's no doubt.
Yeah.
But you know what? In the long run, it might be the best thing that ever happened, even though it's going to hit some people's pocketbooks, no question about it.
It's only going to last for 90 days.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. The alcohol order has a 120-day limit, but can be rescinded at any time. That's and of course, I'm sure if I owned an establishment that was a lot of college students staying out late at night, I'm sure they would. A lot of these kids would rather be there till 2 o'clock in the morning. They ain't got any business being out at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Well,
maybe that'll be a good thing about this, but at the same time, their last drink can be ordered at 11 o'clock and supposed to be out of there at 11:30.
Yeah, we had talked about this off air earlier, Michael, about Charles Henderson looking for a softball coach. Tori Free, who's a softball coach this past year, has resigned. She got married this summer. I don't know what her plans are, but Charles Henderson is without a softball coach. And, of course, Tori coached last season. I think they had played about 10 games before the season was stopped because of the virus. But that's some local sports interest.
And then for high school football, a lot of the high school football teams will be on the playing field starting today. And practice will but now a lot of them have been practicing all summer long. But with the crisis that we've been going through, they have not been able to work as much as a team. So they actually officially can start as a team today. Is that right? Or 27th? Wait a minute. Excuse me. Yesterday. Today's the 28th, and I'm sorry about that. It is the 28th day of July. It started yesterday, and they'll be on the practice field today.
Yes, sir.
Probably. And again, looking at Pike County, the numbers for the Corona-19 cases is 579. That was going into this past weekend. I haven't seen the count after the weekend, but it looks like you mentioned, Mike, not near as many cases as usual. Is that right?
I don't know. I mean, there's like 1,800 new cases in Alabama yesterday, so that's a lot of cases.
Exactly right. Of course, the
thing is a lot of people are saying that some of these, when people test, that they're testing it twice. I mean, it's hard to figure out what's going on as far as the testing. These numbers, a lot of people say, are a lot higher than they really are. I mean, I don't know why you can't have a test. Like I've talked to Bill about, why can't you come out and see how many people are asymptomatic and have no symptoms, And then, as far as the numbers of who's hospitalized and stuff like that, you don't know that as well. So, I mean, down in Florida where I live and, you're down here all the time as well. I mean, the cases are, I think the highest number of cases in the country now have surpassed New York State, and I think are right behind California for the most cases in the country.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Why don't we, but still the beaches are full of folks. Why can't they see the dangers here?
I mean, a lot of people just don't believe the danger. I really just don't think they do. I mean, I was out several different places, and there were several people over your age, and I was the only one with a mask on.
Yeah. I bet the folks that live in Strawberry, Alabama, have got the message. All 40 people at a church came under the virus.
Well, I mean, it only takes one in a small area. Yeah.
All right, now what is this? What is this going to do to college football? The Pac-10 and the Pac-12 are going to conference only. It says the Big 12.
The Pac-10 and the Pac-12 are the same. It's the Pac-12 now. It's not the Pac-10.
All right. Yeah, well, it says right here Pac-12 and Big 10.
The Big 10. The Big 10.
The Big 10. All right, I'm sorry about that. Pac-10 and Big 10.
I mean, how can the Big 10 play conference only and they're going to travel? Michigan and Ohio State and other teams like that, Nebraska will have to travel to Maryland. Maryland's in the Big 10. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. The SEC,
Troy would have to travel to Appalachian State, possibly to Knoxville still. I mean, those are long bus rides.
Yeah. But now we need that $1.5 million that probably I would consider the guarantee Troy's got with Tennessee. I'm just guessing. It'll be over $1 million that Troy could lose without playing them. Don't you agree?
Well, that'd be decided if the SEC plays, conference only.
Exactly right, and right now,
I'm sure that Troy would have been able to they'd either pay Troy or give Troy another game on down the road.
Yeah, exactly. Looking at the advertisers, Montgomery Advertiser this morning, they have jumped out and done this, but SEC and the ACC and a few other conferences have stayed put pretty much right now.
Yeah, I mean, you saw the Big 12, the ACC, and the SEC. That's who you're waiting to see what's going to happen. You should know something about Friday, I would think.
Says the SEC is looking at an 11-game schedule and would include 10 conference games. They would start on September the 12th. The headline grabber is that Notre Dame which probably plays 5 or 6 ACC teams per season, could become a full conference member for this unprecedented season, and this season alone. The Fighting Irish have never played a football conference.
They're going to give Notre Dame a chance to win the ACC title this year in football.
Yeah. In the Big Ten, the first conference to announce it would play only conference games. The assumption and speculation had been that the Big Ten would add another game to its existing 9-game schedule to get 10 and have that in place before the end of July. But the conference has been typically, I don't know whether coy about when it will reveal its plans. So that's that right there. The Big 12 had been had been the conference most publicly determined to try to play all of its 12 games. The president of Texas Tech made that clear in an interview with Austin American Statesman last week. And instead of delaying the start of the season, the Big 12 has taken the opportunity. It's taken the opposite approach, moving the start up to create more open dates for potential games. And Kansas has scheduled Southern Illinois a replacement that they made for August the 29th, and Oklahoma has also pushed its schedule against Missouri State to a so-called week 0. So I don't understand what they mean by that, but
well, some teams were going to play on the 29th.
Yeah. Of course, the Big 12.
Some teams were going to play on the 29th. Most teams are starting on September 5th.
Yeah. On September 5th.
On Alabama.
The big issue, though, is, I mean, for Troy, is in the Sun Belt you have 10 teams. So at best, I guess you could try to play 9 conference games. More realistically, you'd only be able to play 8, and then you might be able to play 2 1AA teams. You know, the 1AA victory this year is important because they'll count 2 to go to a bowl game.
Yeah.
So Troy beat 2 1AA schools and won 4 games against Sun Belt teams. They would have a chance at 6 and whatever with 6 wins to get to a bowl game. And
to me, the most positive thing, and of course Brent brought this up on Friday. The AD at Troy. He likes the idea that you have 6 home games. If Troy can come through this thing with 6 home games, it wouldn't bother me whether they played 9 or played even 8, as long as they got 6 games to be able to make it to the bowl games.
Right. The on Alabama's schedule on the 12th of September that they still show, Georgia State comes to Tuscaloosa the 12th of September. The 26th of September, Kent State is supposed to come to Tuscaloosa. And then on the 14th of November, Tennessee Martin is supposed to come to Tuscaloosa. So those are still on their schedule. So if they have to adjust, one of those teams, if not all 3, may be out.
Of course, Tennessee Martin, is a 1AA team, and they'll probably get $1.5 million, or at least $1.5 million, probably to go to Alabama to play that game. So they sure don't want to lose it. But again, as I mentioned earlier, if Troy can come up with a 6-game home schedule, that is positive for our community. That there'll be 6 football games here. All that tax base, that revenue coming in for the weekend is wonderful for Troy.
Well,
and then the other key,
you got to have fans for all that to mean something.
But another key that's going to make them try to play 12 games is that if you win 6 games, you can pretty much go to a bowl game, and that's very important to Troy. 6 home games and go to a bowl game. Wouldn't you think that'd be great if you could do that? It'd be a goal for for football.
6 games doesn't guarantee you a bowl game. It gets you bowl eligible.
Yeah.
Most of the time in the Sun Belt, you got to win 7.
And the other thing, and let me just say this: this would be a perfect scenario if you could play 6 home games, and then if you win 6 games, you go to a bowl game, and also be able to play the North Carolina State game and the Tennessee game, your money games. If they could do those 3 things, boy, that'd be a great season.
Right now we just have 5.
That's right.
We just have 5. And, UMass, I guess we're still...
Well, I don't know. I don't know if Troy wants to go to UMass.
He acted like UMass wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
Well, that's still on there as of right now. So,
But again,
I mean, UMass is in severe trouble. They're an independent.
Yeah, but Mike, something that you brought up that is very important is to be able to play those home games and then have your money game.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all if you can't have fans.
Yeah, we go to South Alabama this year, then their brand new stadium.
Yeah.
Hey, let them come to Troy again.
Can I tell you something? And of course, all you got to do is watch TV tonight. You know, they've got pasteboard figures of people sitting in the stands. Have you seen that? Let me just say this, and this is going to sound crazy. I haven't missed the fans in the stands in golf, and I haven't missed the fans in the stands in baseball. I could care less as long as I can watch the event. Now does that make sense? I mean, really, why should I want a bunch of fans hollering when I can sit there and watch the game on my TV?
In Vegas, the number of people that came to the sports books betting on baseball is the highest record numbers of all time.
Isn't that amazing? See, they're making a killing. They're making a killing. That's a good old way to express yourself, isn't it? They could make a killing, and that's what they're going to do. But
that's counting. The NBA is going to start on the 30th. I think was that Wednesday night or Thursday night?
Wednesday night, yeah, that's right.
No, it should be Thursday night.
Thursday night, okay. That's tomorrow. Tomorrow night.
I keep on thinking today is Monday, but it's Tuesday.
I can't keep up with it myself. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoy it.
We'll start back as well, so there'll be tons of sports going on. It'll be great. I can't wait.
Mike, of course, this show is brought to you by Wells Fargo Advisors and Colin McCreary, my good friend, and we were talking about. I was in a conversation with a guy I have a lot of respect for with his knowledge for golf, and he does say that Griff McCrae, the young phenom out of Charles Simpson High School, who has been battling Tourette syndrome for ever since he was born, is considered one of the best golfers to ever come out of this part of the country, mainly because, Mike, in the last 2 years, he's gone from weighing 153 pounds to 193 pounds. And they said he can hit the ball other than the golf coach at Troy, who they say is a phenomenal golfer, Bart, what's Bart's name, the golf coach at Troy. He's the only guy in this part of the country that can hit the ball longer than Griff McCrary. Did you know that?
Well, I guess we got to see how he does at Wallace Hansel. If he can, have some good seasons there, and then hopefully catch on with a big time program somewhere.
And something else about him, of course, they say it's all in your legs. Well, he's just gotten so much stronger. Like he says, he weighs 30 more pounds than he did 2 years ago, and he's gotten stronger. And his club speed is right at 130, which is unbelievable. And he's got a chance.
Bart Barnes.
Bart Barnes, the golf coach at Troy University, Mike, is originally from Elba. And let's just say this: the two best golfers in Pike County, I would say, would be Bart Barnes and our own Joey Holly, who is also hails from originally from Elba. They learned how to play golf on that little 9-hole course in Elba. You ever play that?
Never have.
Oh, it's a pretty little golf course. But both of them learned how to play their golf on that little 9-hole course in Elba, and they are considered the best two golfers in this part of the country.
Bart Barnes.
That's pretty neat.
Chase Rogers is pretty good.
Chase, oh yeah, well he is, but I think though, if you wanted to tell me the most consistent player and the top player right now, I would say would be Bart Barnes, the golf coach at Troy. Like I said, who grew up right here in Troy, right here in Elba. And
he had so many great golfers that grew up in Troy too, and in Brundage. There's a lot of good golfers that have come through over the years.
One of them was Ronnie Mobley, and of course Bill Hamrick, and there's been a lot of good ones, no question about it.
These guys became All-Americans at Troy, weren't they?
Yeah. Mobley did. He made All-American.
Yeah, Barnes played 2 years at Central Alabama Community College, then transferred to Middle Tennessee.
That's right.
And
well, The kid that's got the greatest accolades ever that was actually born in Troy, I would say, was the Hamrick kid.
Yeah.
Hunter Hamrick.
Yeah, Hunter Hamrick. Yeah. Now,
he grew up when in his younger age. He grew up on Crow Hill. I guess they moved there probably when he was about what.
But if we considered him living in Pike County, he would be one of the best. But he lives in Montgomery.
It's just like Brian Meadows was born in Montgomery.
But of course, he was born in that hospital in Montgomery. Yeah. We hope you've enjoyed our show today, and of course, we appreciate Green Hills, a beautiful facility on Highway 29 right here in Troy, and of course, also our good friends at Pond Stocker 2 LLC, and call this number 372-4398, and find out more about what they can do to your pond and make a beautiful setting. If you have a pond, is to put a fountain out there. And I love seeing that.
Do we have one at Janice Hawkins Park down there with the terracotta?
Yeah, we have one there, and I think we have one on
the lagoon.
Yeah, I want
to.
Do
we have fountains?
We ought to look into that.
Right.
I don't know for
sure. It would pretty things up.
It would be
glows
pretty.
In the dark. I mean, it has night lights around
something,
it as well.
Something maybe somebody needs to look into. No question about it. Again, ladies and gentlemen, our sponsors, of course, Cinco Drugs on the corner in downtown Troy, just off of the corner of South 39th Street. And, of course, we want to appreciate all of those folks and appreciate also our good friends at Sister's Restaurant. Remember, every Wednesday, Sister's got spaghetti. I love their spaghetti. And every Wednesday, they've got spaghetti, which is a real treat for a lot of folks that love Italian food. And, of course, go to Sister's today and enjoy the best food in town. Sister's Restaurant on Highway 231 South. Forrest, it's always good to have you, my friend. Of course,
Appreciate
Bill Rice had another engagement today, and I hope you can come and sit in with us periodically.
Okay, be glad to.
We appreciate him very much, and of course, he's a guy that knows a lot about Troy and knows our makeup. And we talk about football, and it is important. It is very important, but nothing more important than life and your salvation. No, those are the most important things. Is that your family is safe and secure, and that you're doing the right things to prevent this virus from getting into your home like it has so many. But again, we appreciate our friends out at Premier. Of course, they're going full-fledged with perhaps their biggest sale ever in Troy and Pike County. Our good friends at Premier, Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram Trucks. And we'll see you tomorrow bright and early for Today in L.A. You can see us again today at 1:30. Have a wonderful day, and good to see you again, brother, and we'll see you tomorrow bright and early.